Whoa. Good evening. Welcome. Good evening. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. I want to share with you. Money is important. Be responsible for your life. Money is important. Be responsible for your life. Whether you are male or female, black or white, uh, carpenter or mason, farmer or fitter, a nurse or a teacher, politician or a preacher, no matter what you do for a living or what your profession is, uh, you use money on this earth. You use money to buy fuel, to pay for the trotro, to buy watch to pay your children's school fees, to buy clothes for yourself, to buy water, whatever that you do. The medium that at least they have told us to use is money. And at the same time, there are some belief systems, there are some ideas that all of us have been told about money, and we don't get the chance to challenge a lot of these ideas, whether they are right or they are wrong. But the closer you are to the right understanding of what money is, the better I think your life will be, the more organized your life will be, and perhaps the more credible and honest you will be as an individual. The better you understand what money is and how important it is to living on this earth, the better I think you will be in terms of even your practice, the practice of your faith, because there are a lot of things that we do. We do them because of our limited understanding of money, and there is a lot that human beings do for money, and much of it, or many of them, are bordered on the lines of ethics and what those who are religious will say even sin. And yet they are telling you not to sin, not to do the wrong things, but at the same time, your understanding, your persuasion, the tools that you have on this very thing that can make you do any kind of thing which they will call sin is that much limited. And if it's limited, no matter how much preaching they give you, because you will still need it to live on this earth, you may try to do some of those things that they tell you not to do. Not because you're evil per se, but because you're ill-equipped, or because I am ill-equipped. So money is important. If anybody tells you that money is not important, money is not everything, it is true. Money is not everything. But so is your watch not everything. So is your food not everything. But you study it, you eat it. So money is not everything, but it does a lot of things on this earth. If you don't understand it, if you don't study it, there's a lot that you struggle with, because it does a lot on this earth. So we are told that God is the one who gives money, and we are also told to wait for the government to make a lot of things right so that we will get money. God is the one who gives breath. God is the one who gives food. God is the one who gives everything on this earth. We understand. But there are people who go to sleep hungry, even though God is the one who gives food. He set a lot of laws and principles in place. So when they say that God is the one who gives it, my understanding is that He's the one who has set a lot of things in place. And if you happen to have them, if you happen to understand them, then the originator of it is God. Yes, like human beings. Every human being that comes into this earth is God who brought them. But people have to do things for a woman to get pregnant, and for for her to be taken care of, for that human being that we say God who brought them, or that human being that we say is God who brought that human being to become. So a man has a part to play. Even though God set his Lord, God set his seats, God has set a lot of things in place. And so when somebody tells you that it is God who makes rich, you have to probe further, because it's hanging. And I think that that has been used as an excuse for people to be poor and marginalized. And most of the world's places, a lot of the places around the world, those who are poor, the developing countries, they seem to uh, link a lot of things in terms of money, and it's important to superstition and religiosity. Okay, I think maybe they are right, but the fact that they continue to wallow in this poverty, this lack, means that maybe that assertion may not be totally true. So, God is the one who gives money, but you have to correct that assertion that it's a law that He set in place. That one that comes to you, you must decide it. It's your responsibility. Don't wait for your government to get rich before you get rich. Okay, so money is important. We need it for a lot of things, but at the same time, we don't have to steal to get money. We don't have to cheat to get money. We even don't have to lie to get money. And you don't have to serve God to get money. You only have to work to get it. You have to work to get it because His principles are there. We have to work to get it. We don't have to steal His stuff. We are saying that is important, but at the same time, they are telling us that we don't have to steal to get it. We don't have to cheat. We don't have to lie. We don't have to even wait for God to give it to us. We don't have to wait for the government to give it to us. So what do? It's important. We don't have it, and you are saying that we can't cheat, we can't lie, we can't do anything to get it. What else can we do? We have to work to get it. You have to work to get it, and you don't have to play it down. The importance of it. It's only the poor man who continues to think that money is not important. Money is that much important. In this life, it is that much important. People have died because they didn't have money to buy medicine. We have lost a lot of people who could have become anything because they didn't have money to pay the school fees. People have become illiterate all their lives because the mother or the father did not have money to send them through to school. People have had a lot of diseases. As a matter of fact, lifespan is even linked to prosperity because health is really better health system, the quality of life. It's because you cannot be poor as a country, as a family, as a person, and enjoy some level of quality of life. At least, even if you are not a millionaire or a billionaire, which nothing prevents any one of us from getting to those kind of figures. At least the one that you can have for food, for school, for health, for transport, to help other people. Those must be handled. And so money is important, and we make the right decision and work towards it for us to get at least a minimum amount of money that we can live with for the rest of our life. One of the major things that you have to clarify in your thought is that you have to take responsibility for it as a person. Don't wait for another man to be responsible for your money, because it's that much important. Letting another man be responsible for how much you get in this life or how much you get to take care of your family and everything. It's like letting another man to be responsible for the water that you drink or the air that you breathe. Then if they are not good men, they will squeeze it. So be responsible. One of the key decisions is that it is your responsibility. It is no one's responsibility. It is not your mother's responsibility. Maybe if you are under 10 or 15, it could be your parents' responsibility. But the moment you become an adult, it is no more anybody's responsibility. It is your responsibility as an individual, as a human being, to know that money is important and you have to have some. At the same time, you don't have to lie. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to kill people for it. You don't have to dupe another person for it. You just have to find a way to get some, at least the one that you can use. You don't have to wait for magic. You don't have to wait for lotto, and you don't even have to wait for miracle to get money. A lot of people who take this path become poor. become poor, or they trade their souls to get money. Money is that much important. Don't trivialize it. Study it. Work hard for it. Don't say that me, I don't care. In God's own time, God will bless me, and time will come. The time is not going to come. It's a product of an activity. Money follows productivity, follows the right decisions, it follows work. Money follows problem solving. Money follows right financial or money knowledge, money understanding, money wisdom, money ethics. They don't just happen. So if you came from a poor background and you continue to believe in what your poor parents told you, your situation is not going to change. Okay, and you don't have to wait for somebody to come and pour some oil on you to break something from your family for you to get money. There are a lot of people around the world who don't believe in Christ, but who have money because they have understood it rightly and they have worked for it. So go to work for it. Don't wait for it. Don't wait that one day, me too, my light will shine and time will come. That is not a good strategy. Work for it, and don't even believe that when you get some job somewhere, or when you become a particular professional, when you become a politician, then you will get money. If you don't have to cheat, lie for it, becoming a politician cannot make you rich, cannot make you, because unless you are duping people and cheating the country, money, only way you get it is when you are becoming productive. So money gives you options, gives you a better quality of life, gives you options. If you have a little money somewhere, it gives you options. When you have challenges, you can call, at least you can write some check to solve it. Money will give you options if you have a business. Money will give you options in this life. Convince yourself and get it clearly said in your thought that it is important. Don't trivialize it. It is important. It solves a lot of things. It reduces a lot of temperature. A lot of families are being destroyed because of lack. The absence of money. People have been abused and destroyed because of lack of money. Sometimes you see a young lady who lives with a so-called a rich family, is a maid servant, very beautiful, but because the parents didn't have money, they had to go and live with another person, to become a maid. If the parents were probably rich, or there was no way they would send their child. Have you ever seen a very rich person sending the child, the son, the daughter, to go and live with another person as a maid? No. The only reason people get to live that kind of life is because of lack. It's because of lack of money. The kind of school you go, what you eat, where you live, all of them prove the kind of money that you have. So the much importance that you place to it, you don't have to kill for it. It's just important. Just as anything is important, it does not mean that you have to, it is important. It plays a particular role, and it plays a key role on this earth. And never confuse your profession with the importance of money. The profession is different. The profession that you have is how you serve humanity. The money is the one that you use to live and maybe to do good things. So a lot of people confuse their profession with money. So they say that when I go to school and I become an engineer, I will get a lot of money. Please, if you don't get your thoughts right on money and how much crucial it is, and if you don't get settled in your mind that it is your sole responsibility, the money that you have or you don't have, the money that I probably have or I don't have, it is being my responsibility, and the attention that I gave to it, or the trivialities that are attached to them, or the wrong choices or the good decisions that are attached to money, those are responsible for whichever level of money that I have. Not everyone maybe will be a billionaire. That's obvious. I don't know why, but I think that every human being can, at a point in time, have enough to meet the necessities of life. It's so painful to see human lives destroyed because of lack, especially of money. And The very poor, the very poor are not even aware that they are responsible to change their situation. Most poor people around the world, most poor people in our community, most poor people in our country, the very poor are waiting for somebody else to come and lift them from their poverty. I think it's not just the poverty, it's the dependency thinking. It's the helplessness thinking, it's the hopelessness thinking that somebody else from somewhere would have to help me, would have to be responsible. My uncle in America would have to come and help me so that I can become successful. Or somebody somewhere would have to come. Or maybe one of the children in the future will become successful and help us to overcome poverty. I think that is what makes people wallow in a lot of poverty. You have to be responsible for your finances, for your money. You don't have to blame another person. Sometimes, even if you're a woman married to a man, sometimes I think you really have to think of how you can be responsible for your money, because it's so dangerous to live on this earth and never know that you don't have. And to live in perpetual thinking that what you have is not enough, and that if there is a problem in the family, the next minute they will, reject you or eject you from where you live. Or if there is a situation and you have to go to hospital, you may not have enough. Those are not the levels for human beings. I think that the human being was not made to live in those kind of critical, abject poverty. It almost borders to the level of craziness and mind. And poverty sometimes can make people mad. Poverty can make people mad. You meet some people, they talk, and the only reason they are worried is because they don't have what to eat. They don't know what to do. They don't have any place to live. And unfortunately, they live in a continent, or they live in a country that not much provision has been made for them. Not much provision has been made for them, and we don't take care of any poor person anywhere. So the very poor go through a lot of stress, a lot of pain, a lot of dejection. But I think that the awareness that money is important and that they have to be responsible for their money may at least lift some of them to a certain level of money. So don't wait for another person to be responsible for your money. Don't wait for magic. Don't wait for lotto. Don't wait for anybody to pray for you to become rich. It is a physical product on this earth that many people are getting some. If you don't have a job and you have constant money issues, you don't know where the next food is coming from, you go to look for job. At least if they pay you some kind of money, you'll be able to solve a little bit of it. Go and look for work, look for solution, look for something to get revenue, because money is important. If you don't have any, life is terrible. Life is pained. You tend to even hate the people you love just because you don't have enough of it. You don't have what it takes to live. Your children are they are coming home from school, and it's a problem. Why? It's because we, uh, I don't know why, push really in our thought to give that much importance to money. It's critical that you see that the little monies that come to you, it's important. You don't have to lose it that much. There has to be a strategy for you to grow the money, whatever comes to you, because it's important. A lot of things are in this world. If you don't have minimum, people have separated to go and look for money. People have traveled to leave their loved ones, their wives, their children, just to go to another country and work like animals because it is money. People have gone through all the desert to get to Libya because it's money. Money is that important because it's money. If you happen to have a child who is sick and they send you to the hospital and they give you a bill that you cannot pay, you see how much money is important. You can see somebody that another person they owe, talk to them like they are animals. Talk to them like they are nothing. then you see that money is important. You can see people that who the rent is due and they can pay, and they just sack them. Money is important. Never trivialize it. Never trivialize it. I'm not talking of the paper. I'm talking of the statement of your mind, the state of your mind as to what money is. What do you understand about it? It's important. It's not better than human beings, but it plays a huge role on this earth. The only reason why they try to throw Africa around and call us all kind of names, even the World Cup, you see the number of countries in Africa, you see the number of seats that they gave to Africa, the positions, the slots, because they think that we are poor. They move the World Cup everywhere, every time. The last time I checked, it's only South Africa that hosted it. Money is important. If you're a man, you have to study it. Learn about it. Don't ever buy lies that money is not everything, the root of money is all, those kind of things that they tell you. Money is evil, you don't have to love it. All those things that they tell you, they may be true, but it's still important. You can't send your child to that good school that you want that child to go if you cannot pay the school fees. Okay? There's a lot that you may even have a good heart. You see maybe orphans, you want to help them. Maybe you see prisoners, you want to help them. Maybe you write a book, you want everybody to get a copy. Whatever that you see that you can help mankind with. You don't have to have good ideas and then go and beg somebody else to come and finance it. You should know the role that money plays to fuel your vision. The vision that you have. Money, it will take money to fuel it. Whether the money is coming from you or from another person, it is still money that you need to fuel that vision. To grow anything, you will need money. For you to make any impression anywhere, you will need money. For you to do any good anywhere to any people. Maybe you want to go and buy shoe for all those schools in your village. It is money. They will not give it to you for free. So money is that important. Money, really, how you use it reflects your heart. You may be a very good person, but somebody comes to you with their situation, with their condition, they're crying. If you don't have it, there's not much that you can do for it. I've seen people who come to cry, ask for money because they are in a critical situation. And if somebody does not help them, lives will be lost. So to those who I think money is of less importance in their cycle, will never attract it. Yes, money is important. You don't have to kill for it. You don't have to cheat for it. You don't have to lie. You don't have to, all those things that people do to get it. You only have to understand that it's important, and it follows productivity, problem solving, right understanding of it. But never, ever think, some people say that if you do the right thing, if you work with your passion, the money will come. I don't know. If you work with a passion and you are not solving the right problems for people to pay you, the money will not come. So the money does not just come because you have a good heart. The money comes because you study it. At least we should be able, every one of us should be able to solve the primary basic lack. If your budget is 2,000 at least a month, you and your wife and your children, at least that 2,000 should be available. If your budget is 200 a month, at least that 200 should be there. People, we worry and we cry and we weep. A lot of people cry to God. A lot of people cry. A lot of people beg people. A lot of people call people every day because of money. If you go to most of these places that people gather to call to God, call every day and pray, if you gave them money, if you say that everybody should come and take 200,000 Ghana cedis, I tell you that the next day most people will not show up, because they really, what they are trying to get is for God to help them to get money. And that is a wrong approach to get money anyway. You don't serve God because you want God to get you money. You serve God because you love Him. So your thought, your thinking about money is that much important. You should know where to get, what to do to get it, where to go to get it. A lot of people are going to the wrong places to go to look for money. And that's why they continue not to have it. Because that's not the place to look for money. Where to look for money is a different place. It's a different place. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about money is important. important, and be responsible for it yourself. Never make the decision that somebody else should be responsible for your money. Even if you work somewhere, they pay you, the one that comes to you, you are responsible for it. How you grow it, how you multiply it, how you use it, that is your sole responsibility. It is not the responsibility of the guy that you work with, the company that you work with, for them to make sure that you have enough money. It is your responsibility that whatever they pay you, whether it's big, whether it's small, little, it doesn't matter. What really matters is that the seed that comes to your hand, what do you understand? How do you use it? How do you multiply it? How do you grow it? Do you have the right information? Have you really um, 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 purified, refined your thought on money? Do you think in your subconscious mind? Have you really decided that it is important and you must get some? Have you really convinced yourself, or you just think that it's one of those things? It will happen when the right time comes. It will happen when God wants it to happen. It will happen when destiny meets you. It will happen when you win the lotto. It will happen when the magic happens, or it will happen when they pray for you and you get a miracle. Those may be, but I think that I don't want to live my life on a lotto. I don't want to live my life, the finances of my life, on a miracle. I don't want to wait for magic for me to get something to take care of my family. I want the right one that I can understand. I don't want to, if the farmer has a seed and he's planting, he's not waiting for lotto or magic. He prepares the soil and he goes to plant, and he waits for water, or he establishes his own irrigation system, and then he puts the water on the seed. Never wait. Money is a seed, actually. So never wait for another person to take care of your money and be responsible for it. It is never a good strategy at all. Never. Never wait. Never wait for another person to have the supernatural power to come and pray for you so that you get money. They may have that power, and it may be just 1% out of the time. Because if that power is really for everybody to get rich, then everybody in the church, or everybody that they talk to, should be a millionaire. And you know that that's not the truth. Because money follows work, conscious effort, right decisions, solving problems. And so money is important, but we are told that it is God who gives it. It is true, God gives money, but the same God said that a diligent hand shall prosper. So never forget that. Study it yourself. Study it yourself. Don't trivialize it, and don't wait for any government. Don't wait for anybody to be responsible for your money. Whatever, you don't have to even be a billionaire, but at least the one that you can be comfortable to take care of your home, to take care of yourself. If you need something, if you go to the hospital and they need 20 cedis to buy medicine, you're not going to sit down and cry and weep, but at least you can go to your purse and buy that. The basic things that is for livelihood. I don't think that anybody on this earth should get to a stage. Anybody in their right senses, in their right health, should not be crying for it. They should know that it is important and I must work for it. So if you're a man and in charge of a family, you cannot be playing the draft and hoping that man, you say that but what can I do? I've gone to look for work. Nobody's employing me. You have to solve it, because it is important. You have to go the extra mile to look for the money to take care of the family. So it takes money to handle the family. It takes money to run anything on this earth. Okay, it takes money to build a business and to grow it. Not to start it, but to build it and to grow it, it takes money. You pay salary, you spend money on the project. There are a lot of things that you pay. So it is important. Never trivialize that. A lot of people live in lies. In lies. They say one thing with their mouth and then they go to beg for it. It is important. If it's not important, then when you work, don't take the salary. It is that important. That's why when you go to buy cocoa, they take money. When you go to the hospital, even though they know that this disease can kill you, they ask you, can you afford it? When you go to the hospital, they look at you and then they give you a particular medicine. Why? Money is that much important. Money. That's why you are not sending your child to that school which is charging maybe $2,000 a month, but you're sending that child to where you can afford, because money is that important. Never trivialize it. Never trivialize it. It is important. You don't have to solve it. You don't have to serve the money. Money doesn't have to be your master. It's a great servant. Solves a lot of problems. It's like fire. Fire has to be controlled. It's a great servant. But fire, if it's a master, it can destroy the whole building. It can destroy the whole country. You can burn everything. The same with money. If the money becomes your master, you kill for it. You will cheat for it. You will lie for it. You will do everything to get it because it's a master. But when it's a servant, you know how to use it and how to get it and get it rightly. Because you don't have to really lie to get it. You don't really have to cheat to get it. You don't have to compromise your values to get it. You can still get it by being principled and working one day at a time, one day at a time. But if you buy the lies that you said, oh, it doesn't matter, if you live with chances, it will get to you. Money does not have to be a chance. It's a decision. And don't think that when you get that position, then you'll get money. It's a practice, it's a philosophy, it's a knowledge. You practice it bit by bit, at least you'll be able to solve the basic ones. Next time, I remember when you were in secondary school or something, sometimes you go home and your parents don't give you money and you have to go and buy some kinky, you strategize. I think that may be okay for somebody in secondary school, but it will be very much difficult and very much painful to have a family, to have children, and the next day you don't know what to eat. You don't know what is coming to your hands. You don't know. It's just 5 cities. That is not good. I think that kind of problem, every man, every woman should be able to solve it. So don't trivialize the money. Don't trivialize it. Make the right decision and work towards it. It takes a lot of effort to work it, to get it. It takes a hard work. Don't ever deceive yourself that you can overcome that decision or that state where there's a lot of luck just by being lackadaisical, just by being, I don't care. You need intention, you need intensity, you need focus to overcome that situation, that problem of lack of money. You need to be conscious. You need to say that, listen, I have to solve this problem, because I think that it's a major problem that every human must solve. The lack of money. Poverty is not a good thing. Poverty is not a good thing. I think that every poor person, every poor family, your first duty is to solve the poverty. So like African countries, our first duty should be to solve the poverty. That should be our passion. Our passion as a continent, our passion as a country is to solve the poverty, to move our people from the abject poverty. Our passion should not be football. They told us that the passion of the country is football. How can the passion of a poor country be football? The passion of a rich country, maybe it can be football, I don't know. But if you're poor, you cannot have a passion which is sports. It's like a father whose family has nothing, and then when he gets up in the morning, he's playing draft. How are you going to overcome the poverty? Because if you don't overcome the poverty, your children cannot go to school. When there's sickness in your home, you cannot solve it. You will worry all the time. The peace in the house will be compromised. To a certain degree, you have to overcome a certain amount of poverty to enjoy, even to have peace. That's a fact. If you were in school and every day that they were not going to pay your school fees, it is difficult for you to concentrate. They were very intelligent students when you were in school, but they were always worried about school fees. They were always worried about food, what to eat. They were always worried about where books to buy. Always worried, because a certain level of poverty almost always borders with some kind of mental situation. Poverty is not good. It's not good at all. If you go to the village, you go to your hometown, and you see people who just around 40, 35, and because of poverty, they look like they're 70. They look like they're 60, because of poverty. So it is important. Money is important. It solves a lot of things. As a matter of fact, people even tend to live longer when they have solved. Countries who are living the average, lifespan around 70, 80, and 90 are not countries that are poor. No, they are not countries that are poor. They are countries that are rich. They are countries that are organized. They are countries that are, have overcome a lot of things that kill people anyhow, because of poverty. So when the country is poor, people die anyhow. When the community is poor, people die anyhow. The things that should not kill somebody somewhere in a poor country, it will kill people, because poverty is dangerous. It's not good for people to live with poverty. Never. So money is important. Never trivialize it. Never kill for it. Don't steal for it. Don't lie to get it. But it is important. Establish that in your mind, that as a man, as a woman, you must get some. Don't leave that one to chances. And never leave the money that has come to you to another person's hands. Never the government, never your parents, never even the one that you work with or you work for. Take your full responsibility for your money. And it's a clarity of thought. It's a conviction that you have to have. It's an understanding that you must get, and you must get it early in life. It should not be when you are 60 years, then it is getting to you that I should have been responsible for my own money. No. Right from start, somebody should have told us that we are responsible to get our money. And it's a problem that if you are born in a poor family, you have to solve. You have to solve the money problem. The lack of it is not magic. Money is not magic. So don't wait for magic to get money. Okay, don't go to the malam, don't go to the pastor somewhere trying to pour some anointing or towel on you so that you become rich. Don't go for lotto. It's not the best way to become rich. And don't go for miracle, waiting for miracle so that you become rich. No, work. Money follows productivity. That's why the people who are very rich around this world, they have a machine, they have a tool, they have an instrument that is producing the money. They are solving problems. That's why they get some. They are not the one going to the malam, calling the malam for money. The very top rich in our country, the very top rich in Africa, they are solving problems. They're solving problems. They're solving business problems, most of them. Those who are not lying to get it, they are solving business things that are important to humanity. They solve them and they charge for it. That's why money comes to them. So those who get money, those who solve the money in the big volumes, are those who are solving problems of society. But at least they have thought through to say that money is important. Money is important. So if you just wait and say that, some people play with everything, and one of it is this one. I think that doesn't matter, not everybody can be rich. But you think that not everybody can be poor. There are some things that some sayings that you say. That's why you're poor. So study it. The better understanding that you have on it, and it's important. It's very key. Don't trivialize it. Work hard for it. Get it. And when it comes to your hands, don't just lose it like that. Don't just lose the money like that because you're buying yogurt and kelewele, buying cars and building houses with them, buying suits and doing all kind of things when you get money. No. Study. The people who have created billions and millions, when they had their first 100,000, they did not go to build a house with it. They invested it. They built businesses with them. They multiplied those money. That's why they had some. If they had eaten the first ones that came to them, they would never be the billionaires and the millionaires that you see around. So there is a way that they thought. And the other ones who don't get much, there's a way that they also think of it. So you get money and you just go and buy a big car. You show it to everybody. And you think that you get to the millions. No. The very rich, I don't think that any of us is really rich and has overcome poverty when we don't have instruments to bring in at least 10 million. At least 10 million. Anything, I think, below that, really, we are surviving. We are surviving. If you get anything below that, so there are a lot of people that we are saying that they are rich, and the fact is that they are all surviving like we are all surviving. So the strategy will be whatever comes to you, don't squander it, don't spend it, don't use it just like that. That's why the master told him that you at least you could have given it to the bank, and I would have, it would have attracted interest. The other ones went to trade with the money. So the monies that come to you, you learn how to trade and multiply and grow them and get yourself. I think that if you get into the 5 million, the 100, the 10 million Ghana cedis kind of, maybe if it's not even with you, you have instrument that you can raise that kind of money in a year or two because of the right choices that you have made, then you at least get into a stage where you can say that you have really overcome poverty. But so there is acute poverty which is where you don't have anything to eat, anything where to sleep, you can pay your school fees. And there's another form of poverty, which is where you just look nice, you have nice cars, you dress, your children go to school, but if they cut the source of income, the next 3 months you are back to square one. That is another form of poverty. And most of these people who are we call professionals really look like rich, but they have trivialized the importance of money. So when the money comes to a lot of those guys, they just spend it. So they buy the car, they buy the house. They want to show everybody the house that they have built, which is not bringing any money at all. But that is their understanding of money. To the people who have overcome this level of thinking, who have 10 million, 200 million to the billions, they didn't waste the money. When the money came, they were not buying the cars with it. No, they were growing it. They were growing it. They had agenda. They had plans. So they were multiplying. They were growing it. They had strategy. They will lose some, but they will get some. They will multiply some, and they continue to build. And some of them were building businesses, investments. They were multiplying. Then it gets to a point that that man has maybe investment 10 million, 200 million, all kind of things that you can hear of them, because they think differently from the other ones who have overcome the acute poverty and the next stage of poverty. They get the money and now they start to spend it, and they start to buy the nice things of life. And when the source of revenue is cut, then there is danger, because they trivialize money. You have to have an agenda, you have to have a scheme, you have to have a machine where the money that is coming, you can grow it. You are not rich because you live in a nice house. That's a lie. You're not rich because you drive a nice car. That's not really true. You are rich maybe when you can say that I have about 10 million, 200 million invested somewhere that can bring a lot of, and you can do a lot of things with those kind of figures. If you have a dream to even build a school, university, you are not going everywhere to go and beg and cry for people. Some people have good heart to help the poor, the vulnerable, but they have to go and beg everybody before they can do that which is on their heart. Why? It's because they trivialize the importance of money. If you're going to do good for mankind, you cannot do that good if you don't look and attach some level of importance to money and how it can fuel the vision that you have. So you can only replace poverty with a certain amount of money, and they affect a lot of things. Our lifestyle, they affect even our temperature. If they call you today that somebody who is dear to you is in a critical situation, and they have to do surgery and they need 10,000 now, and you don't have it, your temperature will change, become confused, because you don't just have it. So money gives us they give us options. Money gives us options. They even show where we live. The country that you opted to live there. Why did you go there? Most of it is because maybe you chose to live in Sunyani or Accra or Kumasi. Major part of it is because maybe your work sent you there, and you could have chosen to say that I'm not coming to work there, and nobody would have told you anything if you had enough to eat. But sometimes when the place you work, when they say that go to this village, even though you don't like it, your heart is not there, you just have to go because you can't afford not to work for that salary. You can't afford to say that I won't go. Why? It's because money is that important. Yet a lot of people live in denial to say that it's not important. If it's not important, then don't work for salary for it. It is important. It's a primary problem that every one of us would have to solve if we are going to enjoy a certain amount of peace of mind on this earth. There is. People will talk to you anyhow because they think that you are poor. People just address people anyhow because they think that they lack anything. Some people will even address you because of the poverty of your parents. At the moment you hear that that person is coming from a rich family, you know how hypocritical people are. They talk to you nicely because they think that you are worthy. So I think that it's important that we all solve it. We all solve it. And never leave that problem for another person to solve for you. Never. Be responsible for your money. You know, whether you have 100,000 or 2,000 or 0,000, don't blame anybody else. It is a decision that you will do so much for yourself if you accept the responsibility that my finances is mine. Don't wait for anybody. Don't wait for whoever is telling you that God has shown him anything. It is your responsibility. You have the power in your hands to create the life that you want, and part of it is the finances. If you don't solve it, life becomes bitter, becomes painful, becomes challenging, and everything around our lives becomes challenging as well. The family is in trouble because money was not given attention to. So pay attention and check it, monitor it. If you have 10 CD, monitor it. If you're building business, don't overlook, don't take it for granted. Follow, track it, ask questions, because it's your skill. It's a product of skill. Money is a product of skill. So if I don't have much of it, it's because my skill has not gotten there. If I start to get the skill more with the right knowledge and the right work ethics, and if I work hard, I think fast, I think more, I plan well, I will get to a certain level of prosperity. You know, so the money is not in God's hands. Don't wait. Don't, if anybody tells you that, oh, okay, but they told us that God is just, God is fair, God is loving. So why are some people poor? You know, so those are just cliche. The man is doing something, will not tell you, but it's just cover it with religious statement. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear what you are doing different from what I am doing. That's why. No, I want to hear what is it that you are doing to become successful. Don't tell me that, oh, it's just the grace of God. That's a lie. I want to know, how are you making your decisions? What kind of business are you doing? Where do you work? What choices do you make? Why do you have that which you have? Don't tell me that it's just the grace of God. That is a lie. That I don't want to hear. I want to hear what you are doing. That's why you're better. You know, that's why you have something. I want to know. You know, so don't cheat for it, don't lie for it, and don't believe that God is the one coming to give you money. God is not cutting money in heaven. The money was cut by men. It's here. So find some and get some and solve it yourself. And don't wait for government, because they're in Ghana or in Africa. It appears everybody is maybe a minister or a politician or something. The way people are so much interested in the daily activities of politicians, I don't want to hear. I don't care what. Yes, of course, I care as to what quality decisions they make with their country, but the nitty-gritty of it, that's not my duty. My duty is to solve my finances, to overcome the poverty and to create opportunities for others, you know. So a lot of my time, I'm not going to use it to listen to 4-hour talk on radio about what Akufo-Addo is doing, or another 10 hours on TV watching the same thing all the time. How can you program your mind with this kind of information and believe that you can change your financial situation? That is a fallacy. The information that is coming to you, the quality of information that is coming to you in terms of money, in terms of finances, in terms of what you can do to change your finance, that is what is going to be responsible for the financial situations or the money situations that you have. If you really think that money is important, you pay attention to the kind of understanding, the knowledge that you have on the money. You're a taxi driver. You are always in the car and you are listening to sports. You are listening to sports all the time. Listening to sports all the time. Taxi driver, you are listening to sports all the time. And yet you don't have what to eat. If they say park the car, you can't eat. I don't understand it. You are a seamstress, and every time your radio is listening to Vision 2 demons, or listening to some preacher somewhere talking about something, yet you don't have money and you're calling people for money. No, create an atmosphere, create an environment where you are learning about this thing that is your problem. Because if you don't have money, that is a problem that you have to solve yourself. Don't wait for magic. Don't wait for supernatural something somewhere that will happen. No, change the source of information that you're getting every day. You know, so listen to people who are teaching. Get some basis right. Then you can make the right choices with the money. But a lot of people don't do that. They want the money, but they don't create the right atmosphere for it. They don't read any book on it. They don't listen to anything on it. So how are you going to change it? If it's that much important to you, you will invest time in it. You invest your money in it to get it. You invest all your resources. If money is important, you have to invest all your resources. Invest in yourself to get the right kind of information on money. Then you can create it. But all your life you're just listening to radio, and you think that it will solve. It will not solve. You'll be 60 years and you still be poor. But when you start to get the right financial information, the right money information, you'll be able to change a lot of things yourself, because it's your responsibility. It is not mine, and it is not the president's. It is not even God's responsibility. It is no man's responsibility but yours. Okay, so you can only solve it if you get attention. If you attach importance to it, you will solve it. So don't. The first sign that you are not ready is the kind of information you have. 24 hours. You have 4 hours or 5 hours at the workplace, and you are listening to music. Meanwhile, you don't have enough. No, change what you are listening. You don't have enough, and you don't buy any book on that. You don't study anything on that. How are you going to change it? Because everything that is coming from your life is coming from the decisions that you're making. So you cannot solve the poverty of your life. You cannot create the wealth when the information that is coming to you is not different from what everybody else is hearing. You're just you're listening to all these talks that will never change anything in terms of finances for you. If you're ready, you change it. You change the radio, you change the newspaper, you change all those things. You start to gather information, write information on money. You start to do that. You start to improve your work ethics. You start to improve your character. You start to work hard. You start to do more. Maybe you have just one job. What can you do when you come home? What can you sell? What can you do when you come home to improve the source of revenue that you're getting? And when you get that revenue, can you invest it well, other than going to put it in something that will never bring anything to you? Because it is important. If you don't solve it, when the time that your children get to secondary school, it will be trouble for you. By the time that you get into retirement, it will be trouble for you. And it doesn't matter what profession that you have. All professions. There is somebody who got into retirement and they became nothing because they didn't pay much attention to money, and they didn't attach a lot of importance to it. So it doesn't matter what profession you have. You can be politician, pastor, doctor, engineer, lawyer, an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter. If you don't have proper understanding of it, and you don't attach proper importance to it, and you don't plan for it, you will struggle when you don't have a wife and a child, and when you marry to get children, you struggle. When they send you into retirement, you struggle, and sometimes maybe when you die, somebody else would have to go and pay for the casket or the coffin, because you didn't leave anybody anything. Money is important. Money is important. Money is important. So much important. You don't serve it, it's a servant, but if you don't have it, it becomes a master. You worry about it every day. So improve your philosophy on it, and accept, if there is anything, accept that is important in this life, and then accept that you are the one responsible to change it. And if poverty is a problem, which is a problem for a lot of us, it's number one duty that we have to solve them. Okay, number one duty to solve them. Number one duty is to solve the acute poverty. You cannot live all your life there every day you're worried about what to eat. It's so painful. You cannot. If you are worried about what to eat, you can't do any other thing to help any human being. But you yourself, you're always worried about what to eat, what to wear, what to sleep, constantly. It's not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing. So don't believe that it will just go away because of some lotto somewhere or some magic or some miracle. Work towards it, study it. Don't trivialize it, and don't cheat to get it. Don't lie to get it. It's not important. You just have to have a good plan and patience, and work extra, work more, work hard. Whatever that you are doing, pay attention to it. Monitor the money, study it. If you're a carpenter, pay attention to it. Get more work. If you're a doctor, pay attention to the work that pays you. And if you can do extra, that's how. And when the money comes, handle it well. Handle it well. Don't waste the money. Find a way of investing it. Find a way of growing it. If it's in the business, find a way of expanding the business, expanding it, growing it, build the capacity, build the network. That's why you're going to get into the tens and the 20s of millions, because until we get there, those figures, we're still poor. Until at least you can say that I genuinely created 10 million investment or business, you're not rich. You're not rich. And in that one self, if you compare it to some of these guys, it's nothing. But at least if you can get to those figures. So if you have 200,000, 300,000 kind of figures, it's not that strange. It's not that much impressive, because you can do much to help people with those kind of figures. You can't. You can't. If you go to your secondary school and you want to buy them, you want to build a whole block for them, there's not much that you can do with your 100,000 that you have invested. That you're so much proud that you are rich. You're not rich. You just look like rich. You're just well dressed, but you're not rich because the figures are little. So it's important. Money is important, and nobody should be responsible for you. You are the one responsible. You are the one responsible for the money. Nobody else is responsible. So solve it yourself and deal with it. And never cheat for it. No, don't lie for it. Don't kill people for it. Don't dupe people to get it. It doesn't worth it. Just have the patience, have the ability to learn, clarify in your thought that is important to get it, and work yourself and be responsible that I am the one responsible to fight this poverty. And it is independent of what I do for life. It doesn't matter the profession. Every profession brings some kind of money. It's the decisions that you make with the money that comes. That is what really counts. That is what really counts. It's not how much they pay you. Even though how much they pay you is good, yes. But if they pay you and you don't know what to do with it and you don't know how to grow it, you will still not solve the money problems. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.